All right, let's talk about something that's on a lot of your minds. How do you get your higher English essay to jump from just being, good to being genuinely great? We're going to break it all down today. Let's get right into it.
So, have you ever had that feeling? You're putting in the work, you think you're doing everything right, but those top marks just seem out of reach? Well, trust me, you are so not alone. It's a really common hurdle, but today we're going to build the bridge to get you right over it. So, what is the big difference, really? Well, back at National 5, you're mostly focused on the what. What happens in the plot? What techniques does the writer use? But at Higher, the whole game changes. Now it is all about the why. Why is this important? How does this specific technique actually create meaning? You're basically shifting from being a storyteller to being a detective, building a solid, convincing argument. And that, right there, is the challenge. We're bridging that gap. See, higher markers aren't just looking for a plot summary. They want to see a sustained, intelligent argument that proves you get what the writer was trying to do, their purpose, and that you have some real insight into the text's big ideas, its themes.
So how on earth do you build an argument like that? Well, you have a secret weapon. It's a framework you might have heard of before, but we are going to supercharge it for higher level thinking. So let me reintroduce you to the advanced Peel chain. This little tool is going to completely transform your paragraphs and elevate your analysis.
So the chain's got 4 absolutely critical links. First, you've got your point, which is your big conceptual claim. Then, your evidence, which has to be super selective and purposeful. After that, the explanation. This is where you go deep with your analysis. And finally, the link plus your evaluation, which we're going to weave in seamlessly.
Okay, so let's get to it. Let's start building this perfect paragraph together, one piece at a time, brick by brick. We're going to look at each part to see exactly how it works to create a really powerful argument. First up is the point. Think of this as the foundation of your entire paragraph. At Higher, a point isn't just some random idea, it's what we call a conceptual claim. It's basically the mini thesis for your paragraph. It answers the question directly and tells the marker, hey, I'm about to build a serious argument about what the writer is doing here.
Now check out this example. See how it works? It doesn't just say something simple like, the character's ambition was a bad thing. No, it argues his collapse is presented as inevitable. And it connects that idea to the bigger theme of self-destruction. It sounds smart, it's precise, and it immediately sets up a clear line of argument for everything that follows.
Okay, next up, your evidence. Now this is crucial. We need to stop using long, chunky quotes just to retell the story. From now on, your evidence is going to be short, powerful, and picked for one reason and one reason only, because it's packed with a technique, like some juicy imagery or a really specific word that you can totally pull apart in your analysis.
And this example is just perfect. First, notice how the quote is smoothly embedded right into the sentence. It's short, but man, is it packed with potential. You've got the metaphor of poison and that fantastic verb seeping. Both are just begging to be analyzed. Which brings us to the most important part of the entire chain, the explanation. Honestly, this is where you earn those top marks. Your analysis here needs to be way longer and much more detailed than the quote you picked. This is your moment to really show off your analytical brain power.
So what should you be talking about here?
Well, you should be naming the specific technique. You need to be zooming in on the hidden meanings, the connotations of key words, explaining the effect it has on the reader, and, this is so important, linking it all back to the writer's overall purpose and the text's big themes. And finally, we get to the link and evaluation. A really common mistake is to just slap on a phrase like, this is effective, at the very end of the paragraph. At Higher, that's not going to cut it. Your evaluation needs to be integrated. You have to weave your judgment, how well the writer did something, right into your final sentence. Let's look at this. Can you spot the evaluative words? Powerfully illustrates, vivid imagery, convincing and tragic. The evaluation isn't just a separate thought bubble. It's part of the reason why this moment matters so much to the text's overall message. It's the perfect way to wrap up your argument.
Okay, so we've looked at all the individual bricks. Now let's see what happens when we put them all together to build a strong, cohesive, and a high-scoring paragraph.
And here it is, the finished product. I know, it looks impressive, but when you look closer, it's really just a perfect execution of that Peel chain we've been talking about. So let's deconstruct this thing right now so you can see exactly how every single part works in practice. So let's put this paragraph under the microscope. You're about to see each link in that Peel chain pop up on screen as we break it down, step by step.
Okay, first up, the point. Notice how it sets up a clear argument right from the get-go. It's arguing that the character's conflict isn't just a conflict, it's a destructive force, and its purpose is to shed light on the theme of guilt. Perfect start.
Next, in comes the evidence. Short, embedded, and chosen so well. That phrase, a storm clawing, is absolutely loaded with things to analyze. We've got a metaphor and a really powerful verb.
And here's where all that potential gets unlocked, in the explanation. You see the analysis of the storm metaphor, meaning chaos, and then it zooms right in on the word choice of clawing to suggest torment. This is that deep, technical analysis that really impresses markers.
And to bring it all home, the integrated link and evaluation. The phrase, particularly effective, is the evaluation, and it's backed up immediately. Why is it effective? Because it externalizes her state for the reader. The sentence then ties everything back to the theme, calling the moment central to the text's impact. It's a perfect landing.
So now you understand the structure, let's wrap this up with a few practical tools that you can start plugging into your own writing, like right away.
Here are some fantastic sentence starters to help you weave in that evaluation. Think of these as little frameworks. Don't just copy and paste, but use them to shape your thinking. Phrases like, the writer's sophisticated use of, or this moment is central to, will instantly make your writing sound more academic and confident. So, there you have it. The structure is no longer some big mystery. You've got the blueprint, you've got the tools, you're ready to move from just describing a story to truly analyzing it. So the only question left is, what powerful, insightful argument are you going to build next?